Good evening. I'm Calvin Smith. I'm a senior at the United States Air Force Academy, and I'm going to offer my interpretation on the poem The War Reporter Paul Watson on Winning the Pulitzer Prize. So, before I get into the poem itself, I want to give some background information on the poem, Dan O'Brien, the author, and Paul Watson, the subject of the poem. Um, Starting off with Dan O'Brien, he's an American playwright, poet, essayist, um, well known for his play The Body of an American and his poetry collection War Reporter, which is where this poem is from. War Reporter was a collaboration between Dan O'Brien and Paul Watson, the War Reporter, as the title uh, shows. Um, he won a Pulitzer Prize, so he's well known around the world for his works. And this poem really dives into how he felt about um, him winning this prize. Um, the photo that won him the Pulitzer Prize was it depicts an American soldier shortly after his black down was shot down, and unfortunately he has passed away, and his body was being drugged around the streets of Mogadishu. It is a tough image to look at. I have seen it, and yeah, he won a Pulitzer Prize because of this photo, and this poem just talks about his thoughts on him winning this Pulitzer Prize, and also provides a parallel um, with another photojournalist, Kevin Carter, who unfortunately committed suicide shortly after winning his Pulitzer Prize for his photo, which depicts a young African girl, malnourished, being stalked by a vulture. Um, and yeah, unfortunately, he committed suicide, and uh, Dan O'Brien talks about it in this poem. Um, and yeah, so let's get into the poem itself. The War Reporter Paul Watson on winning the Pulitzer Prize. Then somehow I find myself in a room like the Pantheon and the Parthenon, confused. Wide gleaming chevrons of cold cuts, fanned out on apron tables, wearing shoes and a navy blazer, wool slacks picked out just this morning at Brooks Brothers. My boss eyes me. I guess I feel guilty about that dead soldier's family. Kevin Carter, who only last month was snorting Rhode Island off the floor of my apartment before blasting into the townships, wins also for his picture of a vulture waiting implacably for a skeletal child to stop struggling to lift her swollen head from the blood red clay. Like Carter waited for that vulture to unfold its sear wings, which it never did, which gives his picture such leaden, boring doom. Do you hear that applause, Watson? They love us. Months later, I'm back in Rwanda documenting machete mouse in the legs of women who'd hidden waist deep in mud. My satellite phone relays a message. Kevin Carter took his own life. Duct taped a garden hose to his exhaust pipe. Left a suicide note that I'll paraphrase. I have been haunted, so now I'll haunt you. With my eyes closed, I see him wading into the shade, ashing his cigarette onto his lens, waiting for the vulture's promised embrace, waiting for the good shot. The War Reporter Paul Watson on winning the Pulitzer Prize. What made this poem so powerful, I believe, is Dan O'Brien and Paul Watson's decision to talk about and include Kevin Carter's suicide. Um, Kevin Carter um, received a good amount of backlash over his photo of the little girl being stalked by the vulture. Many people wondered why didn't he chase off the vulture, or why didn't he offer her any food instead of just sitting there waiting for the perfect time to snap a photo. To be fair, he does, according to him, chase off the vulture. Um, However, just the whole idea of stalking, essentially stalking and waiting for the perfect photo, um, I guess he felt that it was too much to handle, too much guilt to handle, and ultimately took his life because of it. Um, I believe Paul Watson and Dan O'Brien included this because Paul Watson obviously felt a large amount of guilt given that he is experiencing so much success, um, because of this one singular photo that he took of someone else's death, essentially. Um, but nonetheless, very powerful poem, gives us an insight into what is inside Paul Watson's head and his feelings as a war reporter. Um, so yeah, thank you for watching this presentation, and y'all have a great day.